us. Hello, good evening, and many thanks for joining us here on GBC News. We're also live on GTV and streaming live on the Facebook page of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, as well as on our website at www.gbcghanaonline.com. My name is Abdul Hayi Mumen. I
am Shirley, and Jonathan Itindako translates the news into sign language.
In our very first story, on day one of his Ahafo regional tour, President Akufo-Addo inaugurated the Bulletin small town water project in the Tano South district.
For many years, potable water has been rare in those parts, and the water project comes as a relief to the people in communities in the district.
As custom demands, the president started the tour of the Ahafo region with courtesy calls on the chiefs of Yamfo, Dwayawonkwanta, and Bichim traditional areas. In all areas, the people appealed to him for resolutions of various challenges. At Yamfo, the Omahene Nana Ansa Eduba called for support for the Yamfo College of Health and the posting of more police personnel to the area, as Newmont Gold prepares to start operating at the Yamfo area. The chief also called for the siting of the Ahafo Regional Forestry Commission in Yamfo and a renewed effort to combat illegal logging and mining.
The biggest forest reserve in Ahafo,
the president pledged to consider the request and also assured the chief of government's determination to fulfill all promises made to him. At Dwayawonkwanta, the president inaugurated a newly constructed administration block built at the Presbyterian Midwifery Training School. Next was Bichim, where he was welcomed by the Omahene Nana Fusujabo Akutu. Among other requests, the Bichiman Hene urged the president to get the Bichim Techimentia of Finto Highway constructed, since it was in a deplorable state. He also called for the upgrading of the Bichim Government Hospital. The president, in his remarks, assured the chief that funding has been secured to make 2021 the second year of roads, whilst his other requests will be considered.
Children's construction, the project has been approved. This is a very good area which will be a team development in Niger.
At Brosankro in the town of South, the president inaugurated a small town's water project. The project, which started in 2018, has brought relief to the people. Sports infrastructure development came to the fore as the president visited the site of a sports complex project being funded by the Minerals Commission in Kenyasi. It started in 2000 and scheduled for completion by December this year. The inspection of the sports facilities was preceded by more courtesy calls on the chiefs of Kenyasi number 1 and 2.
The Ministry of Roads and Highways, through the Ghana Highway Authority, wishes to inform the public and all road users that some sections of the N1, that is Malam Junction, Tema Aflao Road near TT Brothers traffic light, and the N2, which is the Tema Konsumbo Highway around the Ashaman pedestrian overpass, will experience some minimum to maximum disruptions to traffic flow from tomorrow, Saturday 14th August to Sunday 15th August 2021 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. each day.
This is to allow Gridco and net contractors to undertake the decommissioning of conductors on the existing transmission lines that traverse the N1 and N2. Motorists and commuters are kindly advised to follow the traffic diversion signs to be placed at the various sections on the N1 and N2. In a statement signed by the Chief Executive of the Ghana Highway Authority, Mr. David Hammond, the authority sincerely apologizes for any inconvenience the vehicular traffic disruption may cause.
In other news, the Director General of the Liberian Broadcast Systems LBS, Madame Estelle Liberty, will lead a delegation from the Liberian Public Service broadcaster on a 3-day working visit to Ghana from Monday, 16th August 2021.
Whilst here, the Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, and his Liberian counterparts will hold discussions of mutual interest on Tuesday, August 17, 2021, which will culminate into the signing of a partnership agreement between the two public broadcasters.
Some poultry farmers at Wa in the Upper West region are appealing to the government to import maize to save the industry. On a visit to some farms in the region, a poultry farmer, Mr. Lamin Idris, said farmers are running at a loss because prices of maize, which is the main ingredient for poultry feed, has doubled in the past few months, and the produce is also not readily available on the market.
And this year, poultry farmers in the Upper West region complained of shortage of maize and soybean, the main ingredient used in preparing feed for their birds. The problem was attributed to high demand for the produce by traders from Burkina Faso. It's barely 6 months and the problem has resurfaced. The CEO of Landi Farms, Mr. Idris, said the shortage of maize has affected their business.
We are not talking of the high price of it. Maize and wheat bran are not in the system at all. We don't even get them to prepare feed. And that is compelling us to sell our birds because they are living things. They have to eat. And if you give them anything to eat, they will not lay properly for you, which means you'll be running at a loss.
An outgrower for maize, Alhaj Abdullah Tiku, said he had enough stock to supply farmers last year, but the situation is different this year. He suggested ways to address the problem. At the market, many of the traders said they do not have maize in stock, and this may affect poultry production months ahead. Mr. Ahmed Mumuni is the Upper West Regional Chairman of the Ghana Cocoa, Coffee and Shea Nut Association.
For last year, they were saying they are sending it to Burkina. And this year, Burkinas are bringing the maize in Ghana here. So we can't best tell what is happening in their distance.
The poultry farmers say if government does not intervene by importing maize as soon as possible, the poultry industry will collapse and may lead to unemployment.
You're still watching News Are Live on GBC News. Torrential rain has cut off the Wa-Naduli highway, leaving hundreds of vehicles and passengers stranded. The rain has caused extensive damage to the road between Siriperi and Naduli, making it impossible for vehicles and passengers to connect from Wa to Naduli and vice versa. GBC News has this report from the scene.
The one at Mandebrot is the main highway linking Ghana to Burkina Faso at Hamili. Apart from passenger vehicles, the road is used by articulated trucks, often from neighboring countries to transport goods. It was therefore worrisome to motorists when around 5 a.m. on Friday, the road got flooded. Passengers waited patiently only to realize that the road has been cut off at different portions. One of the drivers is said to have refused to heed the advice of his colleagues and decided to drive through the water. His vehicle, however, ended up tumbling into one of the ditches created in the flood. The Upper West Regional Director of NADMO, Mr. Ahmed Mustafa, said though it has continued to rain in the last 3 days, he least expected the rain to cause this amount of damage to the road. The regional manager of Ghana Red Cross was at the scene to offer support, advise drivers with small vehicles not to attempt to cross from one side to the other because that could result in an accident. In another development, the Sombo-Dong-Dafiama road has been cut off. For now, vehicles heading to Lora, Nandom or Hamili may have to use the Wahan-Tumu road, which is currently not in good shape either, to reach their destinations.
Mr. Patrick Dakomisa has ended his 4-year tenure as the Director General of the Ghana Prison Service. At a pull-out ceremony, Mr. Patrick Dakomisa commended all who supported him and asked the officers to extend a similar support to his successor, Mr. Isaac Kofi Ejiro.
Mr. Patrick Dakomisa was enrolled into the Ghana Prison Service on 30th September 1988 and later commissioned as an Assistant Superintendent of Prisons in 1989. He held several positions in the service from 1989 to 2021. He was the Deputy Director General of Prisons in charge of operations, Director of Prisons in charge of welfare, agriculture and human resource, and Deputy Director of Prisons in charge of finance and administration. On 27th March 2017, he was appointed head of the prison service by President Akufo-Addo. As an agriculturalist and human resource person, he undertook a number of agricultural initiatives to support feeding of inmates. At a special farewell parade and pull-up ceremony in his honor, the senior pastor of the Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Fodigbe, said service to God and country is a continuous process.
If you look at the way we retire people at 60 and 61, sometimes I sit down and say, this is waste of resources. But it is not waste. The psalmist said, I know that God will continue his work in my life. Retirement from office is not retirement from life. It is not retirement to nothingness. It is not a retirement to mischief. If it is your maker that you are serving, don't go before he calls you, or don't retire until he retires you.
Mr. Patrick Dakomisa was presented with a citation and gifts. He was grateful to all who supported him during his tenure.
I urge you to maintain a high sense of discipline and professionalism at all times. And I pray that you will extend the same support, commitment, and loyalty to my successor. As I bow out of active service, I wish to appeal to government and other stakeholders to provide more resources in logistics, especially vehicles, to enable the Ghana Prison Service to contribute effectively towards public safety and the reformation and rehabilitation of offenders.
Mr. Isaac Kofi Ejuri has taken over as the Acting Director General of the Ghana Prison Service. Rachel Porte, GBC News, Accra. Nima and its environs developed as a settlement for traders from the northern region of Ghana and those from neighboring countries such as Togo and Burkina Faso. It is a major trading hub in the capital. The Nima Market, known locally as Kaswa Mahmudu, is one of the largest and busiest markets in Accra. The Nima Market in focus.
Nima is considered the largest and one of the oldest Zongo communities in Ghana, with origins dating as far back as 1836. Like most Zongo communities, though, it exhibits great diversity in religion and ethnicity. The meaning of the name of this Muslim community is a reference to the Arabic word Ni'ima, which means blessings. Nima and its environs developed as a settlement for traders from Ghana's northern regions and those from neighboring countries such as Togo and Burkina Faso. It is a major trading hub in the capital. Notably the largest and most popular market amongst all the Zongo community markets in Accra, the Nima Market, located along the Al-Walid bin Talal highway, is well patronized by people from far and near. It is arguably one of the markets where it is possible to get all one needs, from foodstuffs, clothes, fashion items, livestock, you name them. The Nima Market is over a century old. On Wednesdays, which are market days, the market comes alive, and when the stores are set, the clamor begins and it bustles with traders dealing especially in cereals, grains, vegetables and livestock. Trucks loaded with various items from various destinations, including Togo, Burkina Faso and Niger, offload their goods every Tuesday evening as the market opens at dawn. Some drivers complained the heavy traffic on market days affects their daily sales.
Market day, no traffic, no a dozen, but other days also traffic will hold by until market day, no, but traffic in Nima there, traffic will
do sometimes I would chair hours, the hours maybe at 3 hours, 4 hours. And I'm to phone so no the real more driver, the real phone in no hands unit. I'm sure who you are, Nebia, problem.
The Nima Market is also a great destination for spice lovers. There is a wide variety to choose from. It is also popular for the sale of grains and cereals from particularly the 5 regions of the north and other African countries like Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Mali and Niger. In fact, it is at the Nima Market that one can purchase these products at relatively cheaper prices. There is a section of the market where vendors mainly deal in traditional medicines and products for spiritual purposes. Sanitary conditions at the Nima Market is good.
The market is always clean because the traders are required to sweep the environment before and after every trading session.
Some of the traders are calling for a facelift of the market.
We want the market to be renewed because all the refuse sets are not good, and then when we pack to, they are stealing it. So we need more security to be secured.
The streets leading to the market from Mamobi are lined with shops selling groceries and fashion items. There is also a huge contingency of forest traders on the streets, with many black market sellers operating on both sides of the streets. You might want to make a few purchases at the Nima Market one day. Be sure you will get all your needs at this location, and the market women are very friendly.
And from the Nima Market, we now talk about matters concerning Parliament, because members of Parliament aged 45 years and below have met with youth fellows of the United Nations Population Fund to celebrate this year's Youth Day. The members of Parliament who form part of the International Parliamentary Union say the youth wield the power to make value of themselves and the needs of society. A report by Sarah Ofori.
The youth are said to be largely represented in the 7th Parliament of Ghana, with about a third of its members under 45 years. Being members also of the Global Organization of National Legislatures, their role is to promote peace, democracy and sustainable development. They are also to advocate the interests of the youth in the development agenda. On the occasion of World Youth Day being marked with the theme Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health, a cross-section of the parliamentarians met with fellows of the UNFPA to help them identify their potential in agribusiness, recycling waste and capacity development. The actor, farmer and trained engineer, Mr. John Dumelo, touted the rewards of venturing into agriculture and urged the youth to look out for avenues to serve. He also encouraged them to position themselves for innovation to enable them to supply the demands of society. MP for Kankwe South, Ms. Dakwa Newman, asked the youth to persevere in all endeavors, even though all odds may be against them. MP for Afram Plains North, Ms. Betty Mensah, said as much as there are prospects in venturing into agriculture, developing one's social capital also broadens their perspectives on issues. MP for North Dai, Ms. Jocelyn Tete, MP for Tamale North, Mr. Alhassan Suhini, and MP for Impraiso, Mr. Davis Opoku-Ansah, took turns to advise the youth. For some of the young parliamentarians serving their second term in office, equitably prioritizing their responsibilities and having the zeal to succeed are enough traits to sail them through in life. The youth represented appealed to the MPs to enact laws that provide them the enabling environment for the youth to thrive. Cyril Fori, GBC News, Accra.
The National Youth Authority has launched Youth Livelihood Funds at Nubuem in the Drabin municipality of Ashanti region. The initiative is to whip up the interest of the youth in the agriculture value chain.
The launch of the flagship project of the National Youth Authority formed part of activities to commemorate the International Youth Day. The theme for the day was Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health. The Youth Livelihood Farms project, which forms part of the Economic and Empowerment and Entrepreneurial Development Program of the authority, is to encourage the youth to venture into agriculture. The farms at Nobi 1 in the Drabe municipality of Ashanti has pineapple demonstration fields, fish pond, poultry farm and animal husbandry. The chief executive of the African Youth Employment Initiative, Mr. Nyonkuru Fulgens, took the participants through a pilot project on aquaponics, a system of aquaculture in which waste produced by fish supplies nutrients to plants grown hydroponically. The Ashanti Regional Agriculture Extension Officer, Mr. Gregory Osebonsu, advised the youth to take advantage of government's flagship programs to better their lives. The Ashanti Regional Director for the National Youth Authority, Mr. George Amponsa, spoke about steps taken by the authority to attract the youth into agriculture.
Well, over 140,000 applicants are expected to take part in the nationwide scholarship selection interview for the 2021-2022 academic year, which is scheduled to begin on Monday, 26 August 2021 in all the 260 metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies in the country. The registrar of the Scholarship Secretariat, Mr. Kingsley Adiman, says the applicants must visit their respective district assemblies for the exercise. He reminds all that the process is free and that no third party has been engaged to conduct any exercise on behalf of the Secretariat.
About a month and a half ago, we made an announcement that the portal for the 2021-2022 academic year was opened. At the close of the portal on 31st July 2021, 140,642 new applications was received by the Scholarship Secretariat through our online portal. At the same period, 32,120 applicants applied for renewal of their scholarship. This was made up of those who benefited from the last academic year. The renewal cases, the scholarship beneficiaries for the 2020-2021 academic year went through the process, and out of which 32,120 was successfully received. For the purposes of the renewal, some students at the time the portal was open did not have the full complement of their transcript. We are urging such students to go on the portal, to go to the renewal at GhanaScholarshipSecretariat.com to upload their current transcript in the system. The 140,000 or so applicants should kindly visit their the universities are selected these assemblies because as part of the application, they take open amounts of money from unsuspecting Ghanaians. We think that when we don't get help from someone, some of these social goods cannot be delivered. I think it's a hoax, and we should grow out of it. We have issued a lot of public alerts, but every now and then we hear news of people being duped. Don't allow yourself to be swindled. If you are capable of paying certain amount of money, I don't think you would have brought yourself up to be awarded a scholarship. As these are free.
It's GTP, the name behind authentic and original Ghanaian textile prints, and West Africa's leading print and textile brand. Step out in style in any GTP.